Hi students, so I am going to go over directions for today's activity in case you were absent Friday or in case you just need another reminder of what you're supposed to do. So you are demonstrating your understanding of Cortez and Moctezuma, or the history surrounding Cortez and the Aztecs, through something called a sensory figure. This next slide is where you'll find your directions. So I'm just going to read them to you and then I'll explain. You are using details that you have learned from class to complete a sensory figure for Moctezuma and Cortez. Imagine you were living during their time and describe what they hear, see, smell, taste, and feel using evidence from the text provided in class. So we'll talk about some of these resources here. But basically, you're referring to some of the materials we use to learn about this history to help you in creating your sensory figure. Descriptions do not have to be literal and should reflect your knowledge of the history. The more you write, the better you will demonstrate your knowledge. This Columbus figure is an example of the length requirement and expanding on answers with evidence. So if you remember, you had some asynchronous activities where you did some brainstorming about these different perspectives on a Jamboard. For the Jamboard, you were allowed to include single words on your posts. For this, you need to expand into more complete thoughts, explanations, sentences. And you should use this as a model for your length and how to really expand on your answers. I'm going to read through this example. So this example is using the history of Columbus. The sensory figures you complete are going to have to be using the history of Cortez and Moctezuma. So I see people who look different than myself. I see fear and timidness in those we have just encountered. I see an easy takeover of land. I hear waves crashing against the ship as we make our voyage west. I will soon hear celebration from Spain as we succeed in finding our new route to India. I smell strange yet enchanting new scents. The Indians have different types of crops here. Their most precious one they call corn. I can't wait to load the ships with these treats. I taste victory as I have attained success in finding a new trade route for Spain, rich in spices and gold. I feel, so for feel you can do like physical touch or you can do more like emotion. I feel rich and powerful as I claim more goods, people, and land for our most fortunate king. So that's an example of a completed sensory figure. It's descriptive. It includes information that could be found in the history from the perspective of Columbus. Here are links that you can click on to get to some of the different activities that we have done in class to help you complete your sensory figures. So we have the Jamboard, where you brainstormed what it was like for their first encounters. You have the Jamboard where you brainstormed what the battle would have been like or what the impacts after the conquest would have been like. I've attached the link to the textbook. You'll want to reference pages 80 to 82. Then you have the Pear Deck presentation. This link takes you to the slide deck that we had where we took notes, plus the Discovery Education video clips. So go back and look at these to help you complete your sensory figures on this next slide. So for yours, you're going to use these tools down here. You'll use the text tool. Remember, you can change the size of your text. You can change the color of your text, but you're going to use the text tool. If you click the T and then double click, it'll bring you a text box. You can resize it, change the color like I just said, and you can move it around so you can finish these statements here in each of these boxes. So this side should be what the history was like from Moctezuma's perspective, or this side can just represent the Aztec perspective. This side will represent Cortez's perspective of the history, or the Spanish represent the Spanish perspective. So what their experiences were like in this history. So that is it. Remember to find me on Google Classroom if you need help. Remember to get this turned in. Try to get it turned in by 3 o'clock because I need to take my attendance, and I will mark you present once I see that you have this assignment completed. Thank you.